I've probably had more people ask me about this real-time communications app than any other, and that's no surprise since Telegram is about 10 times more popular than Signal. So let's get into what features Telegram brings to the table and whether or not you should use it for your communications. So Telegram, it's another one of those secure chat apps, and one good thing about it that you can probably see from these screenshots is that it has a very clean UI. I think it has more stickers than some of the alternatives, at least I think that's what these little pictures are called. So it's going to be popular with the Zoomers. And the private part comes from the fact that all of the communications done on Telegram are encrypted. They're all heavily encrypted and can self-destruct. But what do you notice about this statement here that's different from the other communications apps, or secure communications apps specifically? There's no mention of end-to-end encryption, and that's because only secret chats within Telegram and calls are end-to-end encrypted. All the other chats are going to be server-side encrypted, and all of this server-side encrypted chats, they're all going to fall under the name of cloud chats. So they're going to store all of the data associated with these chats on their servers. Now, again, this data is stored in a heavily encrypted way. They want you to know their encryption is real heavy, and the encryption keys are stored in several other data centers in several different jurisdictions, and that's to keep any of their local engineers or any physical intruders from getting access to the data. But at the end of the day, you're trusting Telegram to store this data. They're storing all of your documents, all of your photos, all of your chats, all the metadata associated with it. And the reason for this, so it's supposedly not just spyware, right? And realistically, it's probably not spyware. It's so that you can log in and get all of your stuff synced across different devices and everything's saved. Like, if you change phones, you could just put that phone number in and boom, all of your chats are right there. But it could be a little bit concerning to people that are more interested in just the privacy aspect than the features aspect. And that's one of the things that you're going to notice when I'm reviewing these different types of privacy respecting chats. The ones that tend to have the most privacy have the least features. It's pretty difficult to do both at the same time. Now, what makes things worse is that cloud chats are the default on Telegram. So that means the vast majority of people are going to be using those instead of the end-to-end encryption. And another potential flaw lies within the encryption itself. So Telegram has its own home-brewed encryption protocol called MT-Proto, and there's a few problems with this. So the first one is that it's really just a bad idea to roll your own encryption in and of itself. Just like it's a bad idea to come up with your own solution for storing passwords yourself, but cryptography is 10 times more difficult to do than storing passwords. And most of the peer reviews that have been done on Telegram's encryption, they're pretty negative. Some people even criticize it for just being unnecessarily complicated. Like, it's almost like it's more security through obscurity because you can't really tell what's going on with the encryption exactly. There's also some theoretical attacks that can be done to this encryption protocol to partially decrypt messages. If you're interested in reading more about it, I'll include this paper in the description. But yeah, non-standard encryption, it's not a great idea. I guess that the developers of Telegram, or more specifically the ones who designed the protocol, are just really confident in their skills, maybe even a bit cocky, but hopefully their protocol remains unhacked. Now, another big problem is that because of the nature of their custom protocol, it's required that messages be routed through their servers. And there's actually two problems with this. So first, Telegram's centralization is more of a requirement and not just a feature like we see with Signal. This means that forks of Telegram, for example, they're not going to be able to use their own servers. And another problem is that since messages have to go through Telegram servers, it's a lot easier to ultimately block the service. Countries that want to censor what chat apps their citizens use, they can easily block messages from Telegram. It's going to be really easy to identify that traffic if they're coming from servers owned by Telegram. Whereas apps like Signal, they're able to use domain fronting, which is a technique where you make it look like traffic is coming from a different domain than from your own servers. So they can make it look like it's coming from Google or AWS or any of those other rented servers. A country's government or ISP, they would essentially have to block all of those services as well if they wanted to block Signal. And there's a couple other problems that I consider to be a little bit smaller. But I know some people aren't going to like this about Telegram, but it isn't Libre software. So it isn't free as in freedom because it's built with some proprietary blobs. Mostly it's Google stuff. Like there's a rough listing of some of the non-FOSS and suspicious binaries that are in their source code that are removed. So you could use this fork if you don't want to deal with any of that stuff. And Telegram also requires a phone number to sign up. Oh no, the dreaded phone number. Why do all of these apps want my damn phone number? It really is too bad that all of the normie apps require this, but of course, you can always use a burner phone, or you can use some sort of texting app that gives you a phone number to do this registration process. Telegram is also supposed to start serving ads in channels this year so that they can generate more revenue from Telegram itself, so that they can keep going and keep expanding and everything, because they are a for-profit company. Now, I haven't seen any ads in Telegram channels yet, but it is going to be interesting to see how intrusive they are. They're not, supposedly they're not going to be in any type of peer-to-peer chats or any group chats. It's only going to be channels, so basically, because you can do a super group, which is up to 5,000 people. So I guess anything that is beyond a super group, you're going to see chats or you're going to see ads. So basically the channels, which are, I don't know, I guess they're kind of like Discord channels would be the most accurate way to describe them. One thing that's going to be really interesting is whether or not the forks are going to have ads in them as well. I know forks of Reddit, for example, still show the ads, so I assume that it's going to be the same way with Telegram. I wonder if they're going to add a fork that's paid. That would be one thing that's kind of interesting, like Threema, for example. You can pay $2.99 and you've got a chat app with no ads that arguably has even better security than Telegram and possibly even Signal. Be sure to watch my video on Threema to kind of learn what that's all about. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see once the ads come, how bad it is. So with all of these negatives out of the way, what does Telegram actually offer you? Features, lots and lots of features. I think even more features than WhatsApp. Like you can customize your UI. And you can customize it quite a bit more than most other chat apps that I've used. Like, it's not like you just have a dark mode and a light mode. There's actually different palettes that you can mess with, and you can, get really specific with the colors. You can also choose a custom background, so it can be whatever picture that you want. Like I already said already, you can have group chats that go up to 5,000 people, and again, remember, these are not end-to-end encrypted. There's, of course, channels. There's also bots that you can put in, and they work pretty much the same way that bots in Discord do. So they can post links, they can post pictures to different things, external sources. You can send any type of file as an attachment. You can conduct polls. There's a comments app that allows you to actually comment on channel posts and also add comments onto your website. There's so many features that Telegram has. It's almost more like a social media platform than just a chat app. And that's not really surprising since its founder, Pavel Durov, was also the founder of VK. And as a social media platform, I think it's fairly privacy respecting. Strictly as a communications app, I would say that it's probably below Signal. I would definitely place it below Signal, mostly for the homebrewed encryption, because I don't put as much trust in, their encryption, the MT Proto, as I do Signals, because it's based on normal standards that many people have used and many people have verified. It also seems like it's gotten a lot of negative reviews from people who do actually understand cryptography a lot better than me. I also think that not having default secret chats and no real warning that chats are not end-to-end encrypted isn't good. Like, they could just very easily put this into somewhere whenever you go to type something that, like, hey, whatever you're typing is not going to be end-to-end encrypted, and maybe that would educate users a bit more and actually push them more in a direction of using the secret chat option, because I bet that probably less than 10% of people that are on Telegram are actually really using that. But at least one good thing, considering that so many people's data is going to be stored on Telegram servers, is that they haven't been issued with any subpoenas and given mass amounts of data over to any authorities yet. They state on their website that all they could really give over anyway is your IP and phone number, but time will tell if this ever ends up becoming a problem. Anyway, that's it for this one. Let me know what you guys think about Telegram in the comments below.